Stop right now and listen to me for 10 seconds. You could be throwing your money in the trash without even realizing it. No matter how much you earn, if you fall into one of these 6 financial traps, you will continue to be stuck in the same cycle of working, paying bills, getting stressed, and never seeing any money left over. The worst part? These traps seem harmless. They are common decisions that millions of people make every day thinking they are doing the right thing. But in practice, they are opening a hole in your financial life. And if you really want to change this, if you want to get out of the rat race, build real wealth, and never depend on your next paycheck again, then you need to know what to avoid now. So leave a like because this helps the channel reach more people who are also being fooled by these traps. And, of course, subscribe to the Shrewd Mindset channel to receive content that helps you think like smart people deal with money. Have you ever felt like you were always running, but never getting anywhere? As if every month you were almost there, almost managing to save, almost getting everything sorted out, but then something happens and everything goes back to square one. You work, you struggle, you work overtime. Sometimes you even try to save. But then your car breaks down, an unexpected bill arrives, the rent goes up, or, even worse, you get tired, and you decide to treat yourself as a reward for all your hard work, and there goes the money you had saved. It's no coincidence. It's orchestrated. There's a system that wants you exactly like this. Too busy to think, too tired to react, and too in debt to get off the treadmill. They give you easy credit, irresistible offers, one-click purchases, promises of instant rewards. But in the end, all of this is an invisible leash. You think you're in control, but in reality, you're just spinning on a treadmill that never stops. And you know what's most ironic? They don't need to rob you. They convince you to hand over your money with pleasure. The truth is that the game is designed for you to lose unless you play differently. And that's what we're going to do here. Now that you've realized that something is wrong, we're going to look at the 6 traps that keep you stuck in this rut. And, one by one, I'm going to show you how to dismantle each trap, and finally get out of this cycle. First trap: good income. Without building wealth. You can earn $6,000, $8,000, or even $10,000 a month, and still be 2 steps away from bankruptcy. It seems absurd, right? But it's more common than you think. Because having a good income doesn't mean having freedom. In fact, many people with high salaries are just wearing a more expensive version of the same prison. And do you know why? Because the problem isn't how much comes in, it's how much stays. If every dollar you earn leaves your account in the same month in rent, food, car, credit card, small indulgences, you're not getting rich. You're just circulating money. You're the delivery person. The money passes through you, but never stays with you. That's the trap. Living too well now at the expense of not building anything for later. And the system even applauds you for it. They want you to think it's normal to change your iPhone every year, to finance a new car that's worth half of its value in 3 years, to eat out 5 times a week. All in the name of quality of life. But what they don't tell you is that true quality of life isn't about driving an imported car. It's about being able to sleep peacefully, knowing that if your boss fires you tomorrow, you still have months or years to spare. The turning point happens when you stop living on your salary alone, and start transforming part of it into freedom. And that has a name: wealth. It's what you build with intention. Stocks, real estate, funds, businesses, digital assets that put money in your pocket even when you're not working. While most people trade time for money, those who truly prosper make their money work for them. Do you want to continue to depend on waking up every day to keep everything going? Or do you want to get to the point where the money you've already built takes care of you? That's the difference between appearing to be doing well and being truly free. Have you ever noticed how the most expensive decisions in your life are usually made in minutes? This is how it works. You walk into the dealership just to look, and leave with a 60-month financing plan. Or you see an ad for a trip with affordable installments, And before you can think about next month's bills, you're already swiping your credit card. The logic? I deserve it, and of course you do. But can you? The hard truth is, often, what seems like a simple wish today turns into a chain tomorrow. And the worst part? This chain doesn't scream. It whispers. It shows up when you're late for retirement, when you're anxious about not being able to turn down a bad job, when you don't have time to watch your children grow up, all because of a series of impulsive choices that seemed harmless. A new car for $40,000, for example. In addition to the value itself, it represents what you didn't invest. If this money were invested at an 8% annual return rate, in 10 years, you would have more than $86,000. But no one shows you this invisible cost. They only show you the zero down payment and the easy payments. The system wants emotional decisions because it profits when you act on impulse. You press a button, and voila, years of extra work in the future. But those who play the right game do the opposite. Invest first, spend later, analyze before acting. Ask yourself, is this bringing me closer or further away from my freedom? Every purchase you make today is accompanied by a silent question. Are you buying this, or are you selling your future for it? Those who truly prosper are those who have learned to say no in the present so they can say yes to what really matters in the future. So, what choice will you make today? Second trap, the smart debt cycle. They call it smart credit. You know it. Cards with miles, interest-free installments, student loans with friendly rates. All packaged as if it were a mature, strategic, intelligent decision. But let's face it, if the system is praising you for taking on debt, it's probably because it's winning, and you're losing. Have you ever wondered why it's so easy to get credit? You can have a bad credit score, be unemployed, and still receive credit card offers in the mail. That's not generosity. It's a well-disguised trap. With every minimum payment you make on your credit card, the banks celebrate. Because you become a lifelong customer of the interest. And in the United States, these interest rates exceed 20% per year in many cases. Do you know what this means in practice? This means that if you owe $6,000 on your credit card and only pay the minimum, you could end up spending more than twice as much to pay off that debt. You're not just paying for a product. You're paying for lost time, delayed freedom, and a false sense of control. The cruelest part of all this is that the system praises you while you're sinking. Do you have a good credit score? Congratulations. But no one asks you how many of your dreams were put on hold because of it. Debt is only smart when it generates more return than its cost. If you take out a loan to start a profitable business, that might be strategic. But taking out debt to maintain your lifestyle or to buy things that lose value as soon as they leave the store, that's modern slavery. Financial freedom doesn't start when you have a lot of money. It starts when you decide to stop enriching the banks and start building your wealth. The first step is to get out of the cycle. Stop seeing credit as a survival tool and start seeing it for what it really is, a trap disguised as a solution. I'll tell you the story of a guy I knew. Let's call him Mike. Mike had everything that, from the outside, looked like success. He earned $80,000 a year, more than the average American. He lived in a nice house in the suburbs. He had a brand new SUV in the garage, designer clothes, the latest iPhone. He always had a smile on his face, posting pictures of dinners, trips, and barbecues on the weekends. But there was one thing that no one saw. Mike hadn't slept well in years. He owed more than $100,000. Between credit cards, student loans, personal loans, and the mortgage on his house and car, the bills didn't add up anymore. Every month he had to use one card to pay another. He pushed bills with interest, juggled financially, and smiled on Instagram as if nothing was wrong. Until one day, in a moment of venting, he said something to me that I've never forgotten. "Man, I feel like I'm drowning with a nice tie around my neck." That phrase stuck with me, because it sums up what millions of people are experiencing in the United States right now. People who seem to be winning, but are just surviving with style. People who are drowning in debt, with their minds exhausted, but keep up appearances because they can't seem weak. And do you know what's most dangerous? It's that the more you try to maintain this image, the deeper you sink, because the shame of admitting the truth prevents you from seeking solutions. Mike wasn't lazy. He wasn't irresponsible. He just fell into the appearance game, a game where the value of the car matters more than the balance in the bank account, where it's better to look good than to be good. And what did he want most? It wasn't to earn more. It was to have peace, to be able to look to the future without fear, to sleep soundly knowing that what he has really belongs to him and not to the bank. This story may not be exactly the same as yours, but I bet that, on some level, you can relate, because the world we live in values status more than stability. But here, in this video, we are going to change that game, and it starts by understanding that freedom is not measured by the car in the garage, but by the peace of mind. Third trap: social and lifestyle comparison. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through Instagram, seeing someone in Greece in a penthouse overlooking the sea, or parading around in a sports car, and, without even realizing it, you started to feel inferior? That's how it starts. Comparison. And it's silent, sneaky, but very powerful. No words are needed, just a photo with a caption like, "Work in silence and let success make the noise." And there you have it. You're already feeling behind, unproductive, almost like a failure. And then comes the trap. In order not to fall behind, you start spending to look like you're ahead. You buy new clothes, change your car, pay for a trip in installments, go out every weekend not because you want to, but because you don't want to look inferior. But here's the secret that no one posts. Most people who show off are up to their necks in debt. Yes, that guy who is always showing off his Rolex and expensive dinners may have 3 credit cards maxed out. That influencer who seems to live off of traveling, she may be sleeping on her parents' couch and selling courses that she doesn't even believe. But her feed is beautiful. And you believe it. You need to understand. Freedom is silent. It doesn't need to be shown off. It appears when you say no without guilt, when you don't need to impress anyone, when you can work because you want to, and not because you desperately need to pay the bills. The truly rich aren't trying to appear rich. They are busy buying time, tranquility, possibilities. They know that peace of mind is worth more than any like. Comparison is the quickest shortcut to financial frustration, because you start running a race that isn't even yours. And the worst part? Many times, the final prize is just an empty image and a pile of bills in your pocket. The question you need to ask yourself is, am I building my life or trying to win a competition that doesn't even exist? Stop measuring yourself by other people's showcases. True freedom begins when you step out of the invisible race and start playing your own game. Do you know what the biggest irony of money is? It can work better than you do, but many people prefer to ignore that. Have you ever heard someone say, "Oh, I don't invest because it's complicated"? That's a rich person's thing. One day, when I have more money, I'll start. But here's the cold, hard truth. If you wait to have a lot of money to invest, you'll never get there. Because investing isn't about how much you have today. It's about how much time you give your money to grow. And that's where the most underrated force in the financial universe comes in: compound interest. Albert Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world, because it turns time into a wealth multiplier, but only if you start now. Let's get to the facts. If you invest $500 a month with an average return of 10% per year, which is quite possible with long-term ETFs, for example, in 25 years you'll have more than $590,000. But you know what's even crazier? More than half of that amount didn't come from your pocket. It was money growing on top of money. It's as if, after a few years, your money woke up every day, had a coffee, and went to work for you. Now, here's a reality check. If you don't invest, nothing will happen. There's no magic, there's no luck. It's like planting a seed and never watering it. While others are harvesting trees, you're left with nothing but dry soil. And do you know what makes this even crueler? While you ignore the power of compound interest. The banks don't ignore it. They use your money to invest and give you crumbs back. Or worse, they charge you very high interest rates on your credit card, loan, financing. In other words, either the interest rates work in your favor or they crush you. You need to decide, are you going to keep saying you don't have time, or that it's too hard? Or are you going to start, even with little, even without knowing everything? Because here's the truth. Investing is the new financial literacy. Those who ignore this today will pay dearly tomorrow, and the bill comes without warning. The question is not, how much do I earn per month? It's, how much of what I earn is building a future for me? Fifth trap. Depending on a single source of income today. Having only one source of income. It's like walking a tightrope without a safety net. Any wind, a layoff, a pandemic, a change in the market, and you fall. And make no mistake, even a great salary can disappear from one day to the next. And when that happens, it's not just the money that goes away. It's also your sense of security, your peaceful sleep, your freedom of choice. Think about it. Would you put all your money into a single stock on the stock exchange? Probably not. So why put all your livelihood into a single source? The truth is that depending only on your salary is living in survival mode even if you earn well. You work the whole month, get paid, pay the bills, and start all over again. If something interrupts this cycle, you get stuck. But those who truly prosper have a different mentality. They build several small sources of income at the beginning, but that grow over time. It could be a service you offer in your free time, a channel that generates revenue from ads, stock dividends, rentals, info products, consulting, content creation, even a course on something you know and don't even realize. Each of these sources is like a brick in the construction of your freedom. And do you know what's most incredible? You don't have to be a genius. You just need to break free from inertia. Today, with the internet, there are ordinary people making money every month with things that started as a hobby or a simple idea. Writing ebooks, selling products on demand, creating courses on Skillshare, translating texts, teaching something they love. Meanwhile, those who insist on living off their salary alone are at the mercy of bosses, crises, and cuts. Diversifying income is not a luxury. It's survival in the 21st century. Those who have several income streams don't live in fear. They have room to breathe. They have the freedom to say no. They have options, and options are power. So the question is, do you want to continue relying on a single engine, or build a plane with multiple engines that won't stop flying, even if one fails? This is perhaps the most silent trap, and the most dangerous of all, because unlike the others, it doesn't hurt at the time. It seems harmless, but behind the "I'll figure it out later" or "finances aren't for me," there's a time bomb, and it's in your pocket. Ignoring financial education is like covering your eyes while driving at high speed. You may even think you're doing well, until you crash. And you know what's even crazier? Many people think that avoiding financial issues is a way to avoid stress, but the reality is the opposite. It's precisely this avoidance that causes stress. Have you ever seen someone who avoids looking at their bank account? Avoid opening their credit card statement? Avoid calculating how much they're really spending each month? This type of behavior creates a cycle of silent anxiety. The person lives in the dark, hoping that everything will work out. But hoping is not a strategy. It's an illusion. And here's a hard fact. No one is going to teach you this in school. No one is going to knock on your door to explain how to get out of debt, how to invest safely, how to plan your retirement. If you don't seek out this knowledge on your own, you'll continue to be a pawn in someone else's game. And in this game, those who know more always win. Look around you. The most financially secure people are not necessarily those who earn more. They are the ones who know what they're doing with what they earn. And this doesn't require a degree, nor being a math genius. It requires a decision to take control. Today, with a cell phone in your hand, you have free access to thousands of videos, books, courses, podcasts. You can learn about budgeting, investments, financial independence, income generation. Everything you need to change your life is available, but no one can do it for you. Financial ignorance is no longer an excuse. Today, it's a choice, and a very expensive choice. So, if you want to get off autopilot, if you want to stop living in fear, on the edge, in scarcity, start learning, even if it's slow, even if it seems complicated at first. The price of not knowing is always greater than the effort of learning.